ॐ यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. In the 22nd verse, which we saw last week, Atma Bodha says to us that any sense of doership, I did it, it went well, I did that, oh, I didn't fare well, oh, I have to do this. So, in the three periods of time, past, present, and future, the sense of doership is actually an illusion. Vedanta uncompromisingly says that our true nature is pure existence awareness, which is not into doing, which is not into enjoying or suffering. The moon in the sky is not moving, but if your attention is on the moon's image, on the moon's reflection in water contained in a bucket, then as the water is moving, as the water has waves, the moon in the water also seems to be having movement. Like that, the shloka said, Upadhehe, the body, mind, senses, these are called upadhis. Body is an upadhi, mind is an upadhi. In English, we call it the limiting adjunct. The limiting adjuncts may have operations and we superimpose them upon our own true nature. Continuing in this session now, we take up the 23rd verse. Ragecha sukha dukkhadi buddhau satyam pravartate sushuptau nasti tannashe tasmad buddhestu natmanah. Our life is so much driven by likes and dislikes. Raga is attachment. Ichcha is desire. Sukha is the happiness, or more appropriately, we call it the pleasure that we experience. Dukkha is pain and suffering we go through. The shloka makes an astonishing statement. These attachments, these aversions, these pleasures and pains, all of them don't belong to us really. In fact, they appear when our buddhi, our intellect, is operating. Buddhau satyam, that is, when there is buddhi, buddhi means the intellect. All these seem to be very true. Sushuptau, sushupti means deep sleep. Dreamless deep sleep. Sushuptau raga ichcha sukha dukkha adi na asti. Sushuptau nasti tannashe buddhehe nashe. In deep sleep, our buddhi, the intellect, is absent. There is only pure awareness. Somebody may say, no, you have a body. That is his business. What's your experience? Higher Vedanta is to be understood by re-examining how you perceive the world. Don't go for second-hand report, third-hand report. To understand what is happening in your little town in India, don't open New York Times or Washington Post. Don't turn BBC on. With all their reputation, many a times, and nowadays it is becoming increasingly clear, these television channels, these newspapers are very much controlled by certain lobbies. The lobbies in turn have money. The lobbies in turn are operated by powerful people. So if something happens in a small town in India, they would rather express it, report it in a way that pleases the lobby. Anyway, let me not go to these analogies. In higher Vedanta, I repeat, you inquire, who am I? You inquire, I had pain in the so-called waking state, but when I fell asleep, fast or deep sleep, there was no pain, number one. There was nobody to suffer the pain. When you eat a chocolate, Swiss chocolate, famous. On one hand, there is the Swiss chocolate in your mouth. On the other, you have the mouth, you have the mind, you have you. You who enjoy the chocolate and the chocolate that is enjoyed. Chocolate is Vishaya and you are Vishayi, object subject. In deep sleep, Vedanta makes a very important revelation. Ordinarily, we think in deep sleep, when we are in deep sleep, everything is, but we are not aware. We have shut our eyes. We have become indifferent. Vedanta turns the whole thing upside down. Vedanta says, actually, in deep sleep, only you are, and everything else literally has vanished. Ramana Maharshi used to say to visitors when they reported some sorrow, some suffering, Maharshi would say, wait a minute, did you suffer all this when you were fast asleep last night? The visitor would say, no, Swami, when I was fast asleep, that was total relief. I was free from all these worries. Maharshi then would say, very much like Atma Bodha is saying here, know that to be your true nature even now. Even now, it's possible to let go of your identification, your attachment. You are clinging to a certain identity. If one of us goes around with a feeling, with a thought, with an idea, aha, I am the most good looking person in this colony, in this neighborhood. Fine. Suddenly, a person disagrees, another person disagrees, the third person goes to the extent of saying, you and good looking, just the opposite. In this town, everybody else looks more good looking than you are. I was clinging to an opinion that I am very handsome. And now, when everybody says otherwise, I get shaken. But imagine the case of Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra had 8 deformities. And even when the learned scholars of the royal court of King Janaka laughed at him, look at this fellow, so much deformed. He is not able to even walk. He is rolling into our hall. They were laughing. He remained unperturbed. For Ashtavakra The name itself meaning one having 8 deformities, Ashta Vakrataha Yasyasaha. Ashtavakraha. Vakra means distorted, not straight, not normal, not regular. Move is not what is it? Nose is little twisted to the left. One ear is longer than the second ear, let us say. All sorts of deformities. Legs and hands are all not the way they are generally seen. But he was not identified with them. Yes, he rolled into the hall because he was not able to walk properly. And when all of them laughed, he remained quiet and he said to King Janaka, "O king, I thought you had scholars in your court. Now I see these are all cobblers. Cobblers deal with skin, cobblers deal with hide. And these people are seeing only what is packed in skin in me. Behind the skin, beneath the skin, beyond the skin, beyond this body which is packaged in skin, there is a light of consciousness, and these people are not able to see that. I am that light of consciousness. I am not this body." Oh my. Ashtavakra was able to let go of the last trace of an idea in him that he was the body. Therefore, he was at peace, he was free. Tannashe. In deep sleep, literally the buddhi is not operating. The buddhi is absent. In waking state, let the body, let the intellect, let the mind, let all the upadhis, we already talked about upadhis. Let all the upadhis operate, let them operate. But don't have the notion that you are one with them. That's called identification. Therefore, buddhestu na ātmanah. All of them, joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain, high and low, ups and downs, they belong to the body and mind, not to the pure self. This is yet another powerful pointer. You may meditate on any of these shlokas of Atma Bodha to great benefit. Think less and less of matters of the world unless you think they are your duty. If in your heart you think something is your duty, if you think something is your duty, honestly speaking, if your conscience asks you not to miss a certain piece of work, then you have to do it. But there are number of things we do in life which our own heart says, I don't think I need to do it. I don't think it's my duty. Actually, it's none of my business. I don't know why I got into all this. If you think so, think through it and withdraw from what actually is not your business. Then you will have increased capacity to be the witnessing consciousness. Continuing, what this pure self is explained. Prakashorkasya to yasya shaityamagner yatoshnata swabhava satchidananda nitya nirmalata atmanah. Three examples are given, not respectively for Satchit and Ananda. Please don't connect them that way. Satchidananda, existence, awareness, and bliss all together are one. For that one truth of our existence, three illustrations are given. Prakashaha Arkasya, put a comma there in your print book. Arka is the sun. The sun naturally has light in him. So when there is sunrise, all the areas on the earth exposed to the sun get illumined. They get brightened up. Arkasya prakashaha swabhava, true nature. Toyasya shaityam, put a comma after shaityam. Prakashaha arkasya, one. Shaityam or toyasya shaityam, two. And agnehe ushnata, three. Water by nature is not hot unless you go to some hot springs in different parts of the world. In India we have, in Africa there are, in the United States too, there are hot water springs. Last time I was in upstate New York, they took me to a certain place called Saratoga Springs, further north of Albany, the capital of the New York State. And I asked them, why do you call your town Saratoga Springs? Oh, Swami, you don't know? We will take you tomorrow morning. They went, and some places from the earth, water is gushing out. And if I remember right, they were not much hot, maybe a little warm. But more than heat or warmth, some of them, this man has then put some taps for them for the convenience of tourists to drink a little. It was gushing out anyhow from the earth, from rocks and so on. But people have put made some arrangement with a tap. So I too went and sipped a little. It was having some minerals and maybe some chemicals, but my friends assured me this is supposed to do good to you. Don't fear at all. Thousands and thousands of tourists come and drink this. No complaint so far. So I also drank. So that I don't. But here in near Bombay, Vajreshwari or somewhere, there are some hot water springs. Very hot. Around the world, there are hot water springs. Don't bring that into the scene. Please take take the example or illustration in normal scenario. Water normally is not hot. You may heat it up using a stove, or you may cool it, putting it in a fridge. Otherwise, it's at so-called room temperature. So just as coolness is the nature of water, heat is the nature of the sun, heat and light. And Agnehe Ushnata, Agnehe Yatha Ushnata. Suryasya Prakasha, light of the sun and heat of fire. So there are three things, the sun, water and fire. Light, coolness and heat. So each of them has certain swabhava, its own nature. By heating water, you take it to a nature which is not its nature. Likewise, alas, now coming to the theme proper, all of us in the tight embrace of this body, mind, and intellect, in the tight clinging to our personality, and the memories of where we won and where we were honored, where we celebrated, where we had laughter, good times, etc. Remembering them, our ego goes to a high. And when we remember our fall, our failures, places and times when we were insulted, People questioned our credibility. People accused us of wrong things. And our conscience also, to some extent, agreed that yes, we did a mistake at that time. When those memories rise in us, we think of ourselves as poor, weak, very ordinary, very mundane, nothing to talk about, and we feel bad about it. These are all conditionings. These are all the play of the mind. Therefore, it is said in all advanced spirituality, learn to live in the present. Don't be hijacked by one bunch of memories in one direction, and don't be hijacked by another bunch of memories in another direction. What are you doing? Let the memories rise, but look at them without identifying with them. So, just as light is the nature of the sun, our nature is Satchidananda. Just as coolness is the nature of water, our true nature is Satchit Ananda. Just as heat is the nature of fire, our true nature is Satchit Ananda. Satchidananda, in addition, Nitya Nirmalata Atmana. This Atma has the nature of Nityata. It's eternal, it's imperishable, it doesn't die. Nirmalata, it's very pure, very clean. Mala means dirt and Nirmala means free of dirt. Therefore, the one call that Vedanta makes repeatedly is wake up from your dreamy identification with the personality. Don't be carried away by either the praise by people or the censure, ninda. They scold you, they talk ill of you. Take a deep breath and let it go. Then you will be able to abide by your true nature. Last verse for the session. Atmanah Satchidamshascha Buddhehe Vrittiriti Dvayam Sanyojya cha Avivekena Janamiti Pravartate. Precious light is thrown by this shloka upon how you and I know something. Janami, I know. I know Taj Mahal in Agra, India. I know Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, California, USA. I know such and such ancient structures in the city of Rome. I know such and such river, such and such mountain. About a million things you and I hold the opinion, I know. So am I really a knower? Because knowing also in such context is like an activity. A moment ago I did not know and now I know. It's like a cap you wear, another hat that you wear. Like you get a BA, that's one hat. You get an MA, one other, one more hat. You get Padma Shri, one more hat. Padma Shri, a well-known award by the Indian government to citizens who have made distinguished or extraordinary contributions. Padma awards. Padma means lotus. Padma Shri, Padma Bhushana, Padma Vibhushana, and then you have Bharata Ratna. So, the moment you say, I have BA, I have MA, I have PhD, I have Padma Shri, I have, these are all adding to self-description, while in reality, you are indescribable. So, especially with regard to knowing, I know Nile River. I was in Egypt last year. Somebody says, I have not gone. I know such and such city in Argentina. Somebody says, I went last year to Chile and Argentina. She reports. You say, oh, really? So I know this city, I know that beautiful, maybe sculpture in some city in the world or just nearby place. What is this I know? Janami. The Atma Bodha makes, as I began the commentary, a precious statement in this business of knowing some object, knowing some person, knowing some place, and so on. On one hand or on one side, the Sat Chit, existence, consciousness aspect of the pure self is involved. That itself will not be enough to bring about this idea I know. There is need for buddhehe vrittihi. Buddhi means again intellect. In the intellect, a particular thought should rise. Ah, so far I did not know. Today I know what sugar is. Today I got a message from the media, from I don't know how it comes to me, but from NAMCC in Mumbai, there is a beautiful place now, NMACC, Neeta Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center. I got a beautiful flyer or e-flyer. NMACC invites you on July 21. There is a dance by Ratikant Mahapatra. I don't know Odissi dance. I must have watched a little some places. I don't know the great dancers, singers, etc. of India or any country for that matter. But something rang, a bell rang in my mind. Oh, there used to be Kelucharan Mahapatra. This I don't know who this Ratikant Mahapatra is. I just forwarded it to a lady from Odisha. She is not only from Odisha, she is another very good dancer. She said, look, in Mumbai there is this program going to be held. She then said to me, oh, you don't know Ratikant? He is the son of Kelucharan Mahapatra. Kelucharan was a big name, very big name in Odissi dance form. And this Ratikant is the son, oh, I see. He is coming July 21st to Mumbai. And along with him, some South Indian name was there, some Rama Vaidyanathan. She will play Bharatanatyam, the South Indian dance form. Ratikant Mahapatra will dance what is called the Odissi of East India. Some Jugalbandi they call it. Two kinds of dance will be performed. Oh. So the lady from Odisha replied to me, this Ratikant is the son of Kelucharan. Oh, that was father and this is son. Okay. I know. Now this I know came. For this I know to arise, a thought form has to rise. I know Ratikant Mahapatra. Now I know that he is the son of Kelucharan Mahapatra. Oh. But for this to happen, essentially at the core of it all, our being existence and awareness is necessary but not sufficient. In addition to that, a certain thought form, vritti means thought form. Atmanaha satchidamshascha, buddhehe vritti riti dvayam. So two are involved. Sanyojya, combining them, avivekena. Overwhelming majority of us cannot distinguish, cannot draw a dividing line between Satchit, Sat and Chit on one side and this Vritti. This vritti is by itself inert. Vritti is by itself lifeless. But when associated with Sat and Chit, the vritti appears to be very lively. You and I say, I know this, I know that, and chest goes up. We feel on top of the world. To know things gives us some high feeling. Not to know anything. Everybody knows, but we blink. I don't know what is this. Everybody laughs sometimes at a joke, and we have not neither heard nor understood. But when all are laughing, we feel like fish out of water. So generally, not to know is unpleasant, and to know is matter of pride. But this feeling low at times and feeling high and proud at other times is spiritually unintelligent. When you are spiritually intelligent, you may want to know, you may come to know, that's different. But whether you know or do not know does not decide your self worth. Because you don't know, 10 languages, you will not feel you are inferior to somebody who knows 10 languages. Or if you know 20 languages and all your friends in your circle know only 3 or 4 languages, there is no reason for a spiritually mature person to feel superior. To feel superior or inferior is spiritual ignorance. In spiritual maturity, you know that you are the pure self. Tom, Dick, and Harry also is pure self. All of us are the pure self. But when we don't distinguish, when we don't see who really we are, then that is called aviveka. We mix it up with some external thing. There were two sons of a mother. Both were very talented, good looking, and nice boys who kept their mother and father happy all the time. On a certain festival, the first son wore a kind of a joker's cap which was 3 feet above his head. And the second one wore another cap which was flat, like a rabbi wear. Some religious people wear a little flat cap. It touches the hair. The mother looked at both of them. For the mother, both of them are her sons. Both of them are most lovable. And you think on that day, seeing the tall cap or the hat or the headgear that the older son is wearing, you think she would value him more, and this other fellow who is wearing a flat cap, she would value him less. This tall cap and that flat little cap, they don't mean anything. This is also my son, this is also my son. Both are equally lovable. Like that, our degrees, how many cities we have gone to, how many countries we have gone to, how much bank balance we have, and a long list of things from a spiritual angle of view are like a tall cap. Whereas from that spiritual point of view, what you really are is valuable. You are Satchit. You are as much Satchit as enlightened people are. But in order that you may actually get the benefit of being whatever you are, the truth, you need to have knowledge. Therefore, all this Upanishadic study, therefore, all this Vedantic study, not to memorize some shlokas and leave it at that. No, it's good to memorize some shlokas if you can, but don't stop there for heaven's sake. Go further, contemplate upon it, and above all, let go of your pride, let go of your low self worth, let go of jealousy, let go of inferiority complex. You will if you understand Vedanta well. Janamiti pravartate. Therefore, to remove Aviveka. Aviveka means confusion. Aviveka means inability to distinguish truth from the false, right from the wrong, and so on. Avivekena janami iti pravartate. Therefore, vivekaha kartavyaha. Vedanta classes should help you be alert and distinguish. And in the light of distinguishing, of course, naturally you will leave the false and hold only the truth. In holding the truth and leaving the false lies your freedom. Moksha karatalayate. Moksha becomes as though it's on your palm. If there is a little fruit on your palm, in order to see it, you don't need some telescope or microscope or stethoscope or some mirror or some instrument. You directly see. Haha, I have a little small tiny tomato on my hand. Directly you see. So there is that Sanskrit expression, karatalayate, karatala, and the surface of the hand, meaning on the palm. If something is, how easy it is to see it. With proper Vedanta study, you and I will be able to see clearly our ever free nature. And we don't have to push out our desire or anger, they will leave on their own. When we see the truth of our existence, all negativities leave on their own. No extra effort is needed. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.